Hello, everyone. I wanted to take a moment to welcome you to STAT 200 summer session beginning June 17th and ending August 14th, and just do a little bit to help you familiarize yourself with the layout of the course. So when you first log into the course, you're going to find that it'll take you to this front page where I give you a little bit of an introduction about what statistics involves and what we're going to be doing, and direct you to the modules. You're going to find everything that you need in the course located in the modules. So if you come over here to the modules on the navigation pane, first you're going to see a module that I've called Course Introduction. If you go to the Course Introduction page, you're going to see that I try to give you a bit of information about some of the details with regards to our course this summer. The syllabus can be found here, although there's a link to the syllabus over here as well, but you can click this pink button to take you to the syllabus. And I know you're perfectly capable of reading it, but you'll just have to click on that link. And I would definitely encourage you to make this one of the things that you take a look at first and foremost before you begin your coursework tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. That would be Wednesday, June 17th at 8 a.m. But it just gives you some information about the course description and our goals in the course, our learning objectives, your course materials. I'm working it out with the bookstore right now, but it's going to be obviously this textbook with the ISBN numbers given, but we're also trying to get you access to what are called web assignments. The first 20 days, it's a free trial. As we learn more about how you can obtain access for the whole 8-week semester, I'll be sharing that information with you. Since it is an online course, you need to make sure that your computer is upgraded to all of the operating system requirements and memory requirements and whatnot, which you'll find there. Attendance, obviously, it's an online course, and you're going to have certain requirements, certain assignments and tests and quizzes that need to be completed weekly. Communication, I'd prefer you reach out to me via Canvas because I have the Canvas app on my phone and I get notifications, as opposed to email where I have to literally open my email to go see it, which I don't regularly do, but I'm in Canvas all the time. And then every week we're going to have a quiz, and that quiz will be taken online with Canvas. And so you'll see when I take you to week 1 module, you'll see that quiz. The course, as we know, is an 8-week course, and we'll be having an exam at the end of each 2-week period of time. So there's an exam at the end of week 2, week 4, week 6, and of course the final exam at the end of week 8. Now, to get into the web assignments, which are going to be where you get your practice, where your homework lies for the most part, you're going to need to create an account at webassign.net. And the instructions here talk you through how to go about creating an account so that you can access those assignments. And so that's pretty self-explanatory. Also, beginning week 2, we're going to have a turn-in assignment. And that turn-in assignment comes with a link to a PDF. You'll need to print that PDF off, or if you have an appropriate version of Adobe, you'll be able to typewrite within that document. But if you don't, and you're going to be printing and writing your responses, then you need to have a way to scan your results. So what I did is the first official turn-in assignment is in week 2, but I did create a turn-in assignment, a fun turn-in assignment for week 1 for practice. I would encourage you to take advantage of that. So this part of the syllabus just kind of talks you through what you need to do to get ready for that first week 2 official turn-in assignment, but definitely practice with the week 1. It'll give us a chance to get to know one another a little bit better as well. I have discussions. Every week I've got a discussion. Week 1, questions and answers. Week 2, questions and answers, and so on. There will be other discussions, like you're going to be watching a TED Talk where I ask you for some feedback with regards to what you saw in the TED Talk. So look for those discussions. They are also going to be posted within each weekly module. And then the rest is pretty similar to what you see in all of your classes here at Penn State Shenango. At the end, you see a schedule, what's going to be due by the end of week 1, what will be due by the end of week 2, and so on. But this is the breakdown of the grades. The quizzes, at least one every week, most certainly one every week. the 4 examinations, and then the graded assignments, which would include both the web assignments and the turn-in assignments. They make up the other 20%. So each exam is worth 15%, your quiz average is worth 20%, and then those graded assignments are worth the other 20%. And then here we have information about our schedule. So week 1 is going to be a busy one. We're going to cover chapters 1 and 2. Week 2, I decided to cover just chapter 4 because it's about probability, and probability is always an area that students have a tendency to have more difficulty with. So week 2 is just going to be chapter 4. Week 3, chapters 5 and 6 are both continuations of probability. One deals with the binomial and and the other with the normal distribution. Week 5, we'll start to do some confidence intervals and hypothesis tests. Week 6, more confidence intervals and hypothesis tests. Week 7, we're going to work on just the chi-square tests. There are 3 of them. And then finally, week 8, we're going to come back and hit chapter 3 and get ourselves ready for that final exam, which is scheduled to take place on Friday, August 14th. So definitely take a closer look at that syllabus on your own, and be sure to message me through Canvas with any questions you might possibly have. Here's a chance for you to introduce yourself. It's a little discussion. I'd love to learn a little bit more about you, so I've put some questions in here that I'd like you to respond to if you would, and we can all kind of get to know one another a bit better. With this distance learning, it's hard to do that, but I'm trying to encourage that as much as possible in this online class. Back to the modules, there's a course introduction page that I'd like you to take a close look at as well. The next module, this is going to be something where you're probably going to want to print some of these things out as you begin to use them. So for instance, the formulas. These are all of the formulas that you are going to be learning how to use in this class. I might encourage you to print off this formula sheet right away because we start using it right away during week 1. Okay. Then there are also various different tables that you're going to learn about. The first table that we'll be using is the table of random digits. We'll be using that week 1. Binomial distributions, we'll be using that week 3. Z-table, we'll start using that already in week 2. And then the T-table, that comes about midway, and the chi-square table, like we said, that's something we're going to be accessing in, I think, week 7, and then using it to get prepared for the final exam as well. But here's how the modules by week are going to be organized. There's going to be an overview where we tell you a little bit about what we're covering in that week's materials. There's going to be the discussion group where I said you can post, whatever questions you have. If you've got a question about something, it's likely others may have the very same questions. So by having this discussion group, we can all communicate with one another and help one another out with the questions that we have. Please feel free to answer questions that other students have posted. This is not graded, but I am going to consider extra credit for those who regularly participate in weekly discussions because I really want to encourage that. And then you'll see within each weekly module, you'll see PowerPoints and guided notes. Let me tell you a little bit about the guided notes. Since we look at so much data and we look at so many graphs, I provide guided notes in my stats classes. And this would be something that I would highly recommend you print off at the beginning of every week. There's a PDF, and you can print this off. And then if you work through the examples in the PowerPoints, you'll have questions that are going to be answered within those slides. And so each set of guided notes begins with just some tips for how to use this document. The questions within it are corresponding to the slides in that module. So feel free to use this document to help you take notes. I've provided a place for you to put your answer to the different questions that will be answered within the slides. And then, of course, as I mentioned, be sure to post any questions and answers that you might have in that week's discussion group if you have them. So you'll see I've broken it out by section. So in week 1, our first couple of lessons are going to be section 1.1 and section 1.2 about statistics, measurability, and variability. And just want to give you a peek how, you see a question and there's a place for you to respond with your answer. And these examples will guide you when it comes time for you to work on your graded assignments and then prepare for each week's quiz and eventually the exams that will be covering the topics within the chapter. So the guided notes, I encourage you to certainly print those off and have them ready to go before you start examining the PowerPoints. The overview gives you a look at, okay, this is what this week is about. It gives you an introduction to the concepts we'll be covering and learning about in that week, what our objectives are for the week, what you'll have to do to prepare for your quiz at the end of each week and possibly an exam, and then what is assigned that must be completed each week. So week one's turn-in assignment is optional, but I would encourage you to do it. It's a way for us to get to know one another, as I mentioned, but it's also going to give you practice uploading your responses to the turn-in assignment in Canvas. You have 2 web assignments in week one. One is a chapter 1 web assignment and another is a chapter 2 web assignment. And then you have a quiz to complete by the end of the week that is in Canvas. So let me give you a little peek at what web assignments look like. So when you log into the class and create your account, you see right away what I was just referencing is a chapter 1 assignment and a chapter 2 assignment. And if you'll, from the student side of things, you just have to click on that assignment to gain access to it. And then you'll see questions that are asked with regards to the topics that are covered in the PowerPoint and in the pages in the textbook that I encourage you to read. The nice thing is that if there are questions where you can ask for help, or you can ask for another question similar to it. So I would encourage you to take advantage of those opportunities for extra practice. And then when you've completed the assignment, just want to go back and check your work. And then at the end, it'll say submit for testing. And so those are what the web assignments are going to look like. And those will have several of them weekly. And finally, with regards to the quizzes and exams, this is clearly explained in the syllabus and in the course introduction page. But the quizzes you can begin and then come back to at a later time. Just make sure you save your work before exiting. And there is no time limit on your quizzes. But the exams, you have to make sure you have a period of time set aside, usually 60 minutes, to complete the exam in one setting. So, so there is a time limit. You will be kicked out of the exam if once that time limit is reached. But the quizzes, you can come and go as you please and have an unlimited amount of time to complete them as long as they're completed by the due date. So that just kind of gives you a quick peek at what the course layout. If you've got any questions, of course, don't hesitate to message me or put it in the week one question and answers. And because again, the question you might have is probably a question others may have as well. But reach out to me. I'm looking forward to working with all of you this summer, even though we're doing it from a distance. And again, don't hesitate to contact me with whatever questions you have. I hope we have a great semester together. Looking forward to our time together. Bye-bye, guys.